what your experience is of that. Okay, I don't see any comments. So let me ask that question again. Imagine you are about to write an exam or speak on stage. What emotions do you experience? And let me help you out here. Is it excitement or nervousness? Just want to see if I can see any questions, comments. I don't see any comments. Okay, somebody responded nervous. Any other comments? Okay, the general experience that people have when they're about to write an exam or get up on stage is nervousness. But I want to ask you another question. Some people might actually view this as also excitement. So when you are up on that stage, about to give that talk, the experience that your body has is the following. Your heart rate goes up. It starts to speed up. You have the feeling of butterflies in your tummy. You might even break out into a sweat. And the interesting thing about this is that physiologically, your body has almost the exact experience whether you are excited or whether you are nervous. So what that actually means is somewhere along the way, we learned to define that feeling as either being nervousness or being excitement. And when you start to label getting up on that stage or walking into that room when you have to write your exam as feeling nervous, then your mindset has already been programmed to experience that as nervousness. But when you reframe that and you say to yourself, actually, this is excitement. I'm actually now excitement. Because remember, your body doesn't distinguish the difference between whether you're nervous or whether you're excited. It's exactly the same physiological experience. And so when you start to reframe that, walking up on stage and being able to speak on public or walking to your exam room and writing your exam, when you start to reframe that as excitement, your whole experience of that event is going to be completely different. Now, why am I saying this to you? Because when people hear the word budget, they immediately start to have a negative experience of budgeting. And so the chances of them wanting to budget is actually quite slim, or the chances of them staying focused or committed to that budget is going to be slim. So I've created a different way of actually looking at a budgeting experience, and that is to create a spending plan. Now, already creating a spending plan sounds a lot more empowering than drawing up a budget. So when you go and create your spending plan, it's basically a plan that you are telling or instructing your money as to where it's going to go. So how do you go about creating your spending plan? So there's a few things that you're going to need. You're going to need your bank statements. And I know a lot of the girls at Heritage STEM might not obviously have been earning an income, but for those of you who have, one way of doing this is to draw your bank statements. So at least maybe 2 or 3 months of your past bank statements. You also want to have any other documents that you will need that will reflect your expenses. So, water and lights, utilities bills, telephone bills, any statements that you need that reflects your expenses. Also, any statements that you have accumulated any debt. So if you've taken out a loan, if you've got a credit card, any current statements that you have will help you to gather this information that you're going to need in order to create your spending plan. I would also recommend that if you don't have any of these things, that you also keep a money journal. Now, what is a money journal. A money journal is basically a document, or you could use a spreadsheet, you could use your phone, you could use an actual journal where you track down every single cent that you spend. Now, the reason for this exercise is that a lot of the times, because everything is electronic and online, it's very easy to not go into your bank account and see what expenses have been deducted from your account. And a lot of the times, there'll be small amounts that are going off your account that you would not be able to justify, or you might not even know that those amounts are being deducted from your account because they're so small. And in actual fact, sometimes a lot of fraud happens this way because people don't query those small amounts that gets deducted off their account. But when you start to add up all those amounts, it actually can become quite a bit. So a money journal is, as I said, a spreadsheet or even a phone that you can use to jot down every single cent that you spend. Now, I recommend doing this for at least 30 days, and you can start doing it on the first of the month, or you can start doing it from the time you get paid until the next time that you get paid. And in that way, you'll be able to identify spending trends. Now, a spending trend is basically where you are spending your money and on what you're spending it on. And this practice is going to help you to identify what you are spending your money on. So, as an example, when you, at the end of that 30 days, what you want to do is you want to have a look at the specific items that you spent on. So maybe you're someone who likes drinking cappuccinos every day. And so you spend 20, 30 Rand. I don't know how much it is in America or across the globe, but whatever amounts you're spending, write that down. Because at the end of, if you're spending 20, 30 Rand, on a specific day, it doesn't seem as if it's a lot of money. But when you're spending 500, 600, 700 Rand on cappuccinos at the end of the month, that amount is quite, it can be quite a bit. Now, why is this a problem? The reason why it's a problem is because a lot of the times people are spending money on things that they want as opposed to things that they need. They're spending things that are money on things that are unnecessary than on things that are necessary. Now, and these are interesting exercises to do because it might surprise you or shock you as to how much you're actually spending on things like petrol, data, cappuccinos, eating out, alcohol, going out, entertainment. Those things are, once you see how much you spend at the end of every month, can become quite a shock. So what you want to do ideally is you want to start looking at creating a spending plan that works for you once you have these amounts. Your plan should actually include the following three things. It should include expenses for needs, it should include a section for wants, and it should include a section for goals. And a lot of the time, people don't have goals included in their spending plan. So you also want to use this information once you have all these amounts to reduce unnecessary money that is being spent on things like your wants. So wants, again, are things that you can live without. You can live without that cappuccino. No one's saying you don't have to have a cappuccino, but what we're saying is it's important that you have planned for your goals first before you can spend money on things that you actually want. And again, this exercise is especially important if you are struggling to make ends meet and if you're not, again, saving adequately towards your goals or you want to pay off your debt. Now, when you've reduced your wants and you are still struggling to pay for your needs and to pay for your goals, the next thing you need to look at is to look at reducing your needs. And I know this is quite a difficult thing for people to do because it means going and really looking at, do you need that expensive car to get to work? Do you need to stay in an expensive home? Do you need an expensive cell phone? Are you spending too much of money on electricity? There are ways that you can actually start to reduce these things. I think we have a question. What is the best moment to spend my money on an investment once my plan is completed? What is the best moment? I'm not sure if I'm understanding that question, but if I've understood it correctly, I think the first person you should be paying is yourself. So the best moment for anyone who's earning an income is to pay themselves first. And the reason for that is because once you start paying yourself first, not only are you showing yourself and also saying to the rest of the world that you are important, that you value yourself, you value your future goals. Because remember, when we spend money on expenses, we are paying for other people's dreams to come true. Because whoever, whatever your expense is making somebody else richer. So we need to start making a mindset shift from being a consumer to being a producer. And we need to start making that mindset shift of, I am also important. If you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he also talks about the same thing. He talks about paying yourself first. And the ways that you can do that is by the day that you get paid, you have a debit order going off your account, and you have an amount that gets deducted every single time you earn an income. So that's one way of doing it. And I think once you start building that habit in, it becomes automatic. And you can start with any amount. A lot of the times people start with 10%, but you can start with any amount, whatever amount you feel you are comfortable with saving. I think the most important thing is to create the habit. I'm not sure if there's any other questions or comments. Yeah, so, again, I just want to reiterate, and this was a saying that Robin Sharma actually said, and I think I may have mentioned it in one of the previous lives that we did. You cannot live the same year 75 times and call it a life. If you want to change an outcome, then you need to change your behavior. If you want different results, then you need to take different actions. And if you are not happy with where you are financially, then you need to do something differently. And by creating a spending plan and sticking to that plan, you are actually one step closer towards achieving your financial goals. I hope everybody enjoyed the session and found some use or some value out of it. And yeah, if you have any more comments or questions, please feel free to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn as well. And you can pose your questions to me on the chat, or you can send me a direct message as well. Awesome. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Heritage STEM Camps Foundation girls, enjoy the rest of your camp, and hopefully we'll see you soon.